Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you, finishing up a series with the Twins. It was a series. Rangers lose it 4-0 today, drop the series, 2 games out of 3, taking the L, and the Twins use another Byron Buxton leadoff blast, a 3-run eighth, and 10 hits accumulated after Tyler Mahle leaves the game. They take full control and win this one again by a score of 4-0. Tyler Mahle was dominant, much like DeGrom, went 5 innings of one-run baseball, 4 Ks, just the one home run. It's almost eerily similar how the DeGrom start went and how the Mahle start went. You give up the homer to Buxton, and then you pretty much shut it down from there on out. Good stuff from Tyler Mahle as he pitches his last game as a Texas Ranger. It was quick. I mean, we got him for what feels like a couple of weeks. I mean, with all the injuries and the time on the IL, I think you knew with Tyler Mahle it was going to be a risk. When you signed him, it was high risk, high reward, and unfortunately it ended up being a little bit more high risk than reward. It's interesting, Justin. I do think out of the potential free agents, you're probably wanting to sign Mahle over Kelly. I think Tyler Mahle would probably be a guy that you would want to go for over Merrill Kelly at this point. Mahle just 30 years old. Merrill Kelly 37 in October. I think that it's more likely they bring back Tyler Mahle than Merrill Kelly. I think that Mahle is definitely still a risk at this point. He has not proven that he can stay healthy for an entire season. I honestly would see what he's asking for, and I would definitely be in negotiations. I think you have just got to see what that average annual request is and then how long of a deal he's looking for. I think at 30 years old, he could probably command another at minimum 2-year deal. I think it's going to be somewhere between a 2 and a 4-year deal that he ends up getting. And you would think he would probably match what he got with Texas, which was around $16 million a year. You would think he could probably get basement level $15 million a year wherever he goes. I think the Rangers would be wise to stay in communication. I think they've got to have a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth with how much time he spent on the shelf being injured. But I think at the same time, he's kind of whet your appetite a little bit with how well he can pitch when he's healthy. I think there is something to potentially bringing him back. I just don't know where the Rangers 100% stand with him. That's important. Are they fed up with the injuries? Do they believe this is going to be something that continues? Or with the insider intel that they have, do they feel like Mahle is coming into a period of ultimate health? He is going to maybe be a guy that you can rely on for 150 plus innings. That is the question. That's the question. I feel bad for the fans today. You did get to see a nice show with Tyler Mahle. Look, Bailey Ober is a guy for the Twins that has over a 5 ERA. The fact that the Rangers only muscled 3 hits off of this guy, 2 hits, they had 1 off the bullpen. The fact that they allowed Bailey Ober to go 6 innings, no earned runs, 5 Ks, just tells you the state of this team right now. And I feel bad for anybody that bought a ticket today. Looked like a beautiful day at the ballpark, and you got 3 hits out of the home team. 3 hits. How many walks did they have today? Looks like they had 1 walk. You had 4 base runners for Texas the entire day. Gary, you're right. I mean, it really is a fitting way for the season to end. It's immediately what I thought. I obviously was at work. The game started at 11:35 my time, and I got to be honest with you. I definitely saw the updates. I saw 11:36. Buxton hits the homer, and you're just kind of thinking, it's going to be one of those days again, isn't it? The Twins, by the way, have 90 losses. Like, this was not a great Minnesota team coming in hot. This team did not have a lot of life, a lot of bite, and they came into Arlington looking special. I mean, look, it's not like they blew the doors off of the place, but I will say this. The Twins looked very in control for a majority of this series, and look, it's a pretty meaningless series in terms of the overall outlook on the 2025 season, but nevertheless, it's definitely frustrating to watch a team like the Twins further out of it than the Rangers still try and win ball games, while our home team appears to have totally quit. I don't know. Because, and hear me out on this one, Noah. By the way, appreciate the comment. I want to choose my words carefully, but I don't know how you couldn't be concerned. Are all these guys going to be off the team next year? Are all these guys going to be off the team next year? So you're good with a bunch of guys that are going to be on the team next year just mailing this in? I mean, I don't understand that mentality at all, that it's not a concern because it's meaningless baseball. Let's be honest. These guys were not playing great even when it was meaningful. How can you not be concerned that you've got a bunch of guys on this team mailing it in the last week of the season? These guys couldn't even have a great outing when it mattered. Now you can't even have them be professionals and try? It's not a great look. Even Bruce Bochy's calling it out. I don't understand the zero level of concern. Who cares? I mean, you can be apathetic to it all you want. Don't watch the games. I totally get it. To say it's a nothing burger, that you've got a bunch of guys giving very limited effort who get paid millions of dollars in front of fans that are spending their hard-earned money at the ball game. I don't know. I can't go with you there, my guy. I appreciate the comment, but I think it's kind of an odd take. You got guys making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars trying to entertain people that have spent their hard-earned money on a ticket, and you're coming to the ballpark like this. I did see Simeon's comments, G-Man. Here's what I wonder. Who are you talking about? I mean, and I know some people were giving it back to Marcus like, dude, you're a part of it. But I don't think Marcus Semien is a part of the clubhouse problem. Was he a part of the problem on the field? 100%. Marcus Semien did not play well this year. He had his moments of playing well. He did not play well by and large this year. But I think if you really look at the Marcus Semien comments, he's talking about clubhouse culture. He's talking about vibes in the clubhouse. And I see what he's saying. I wonder who he's talking about. You would love to be, I've said this a million times, you'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Rangers clubhouse. You really would. Let me see if I can actually pull up the comments. I want to make sure I don't butcher them. And we'll see if we can get them read out loud. I'm sure maybe somebody in the chat can give the synopsis of it. But, man, I would definitely like to just read the full quote out. This is another article that Kennedy Landry put out. Semien says, I was ready to play. I got myself ready to go, probably a little early for this injury. But with where we're at as a team, we decided it's probably the smartest thing for my foot to shut it down. I wanted to give it a go. Numbers just didn't add up from where we were, so I had to accept it. Yeah, look, Marcus obviously talking a lot about his injury. The comments, though, that he made that were specific to the team culture, a little bit lower. This team in general has a lot of work to do just to get out of this funk we've been in the last 2 years. This is Marcus Semien talking, I believe, to Kennedy Landry today, Rangers beat writer. You think about the last 2 years, Semien says, it's not where we want to be. We want to be in the postseason. I'm not the one making the decisions on who's in this clubhouse. This is where people really latched on. I definitely know the kind of team I want to play on. That's guys who are hungry and want to go for a championship every single year. There were just some things that didn't work out for us as an offense, and it kind of slowed us down. That ended up being the hardest part of this season. I just think that we can always be better. We can be better in the way that we approach each and every game, Semien added. I'm thinking about the last 2 years of us not being in the playoffs, right? So there's a lot of room for improvement, and the way we get out of that is staying together, working together, playing hard, and loving the game. That's what Marcus Semien said about this current Rangers team and the state of it. So I'm not the one making the decisions on who's in this clubhouse. That's kind of what everybody latches onto. Guys who are hungry and want to go for a championship every year. And you almost feel like his next sentence was kind of a, oh, shoot, I'm probably going a little bit too far. So he kind of reeled it back in and talked about the offense, right? Talked about how the offense didn't work out. But you kind of saw him opening up a door a little bit. Not the one making decisions on who's in the clubhouse. I know the kind of team I want to play on, and that's guys who are hungry and want a championship every year. So what's the obvious conclusion? He's basically saying there's guys on the team that aren't really that hungry and aren't necessarily concerned about playing for a championship every year. G-Man, explain the Jock thing, man. What have you heard about Jock being a clubhouse cancer? Dolly as well. I have not heard that. You tell me. I'm not trying to disagree with you, my guy. I'm just asking, what's the intel? It's not something that I've heard. I think Bruce Bochy comes back next season. Francisco, I think you're absolutely right. Swolger, it's a really good point. I definitely feel like he probably should have spoken up a lot sooner. This is the kind of stuff that the Rangers needed. But you know what? I almost wonder, and maybe I'm totally wrong on this, I think that this team prided itself for so long on being just a team that never got too high, got too low, never makes a real big deal about anything, the bumps in the road, whatever. You almost wonder if they just were trying way too hard to stay true to that mantra. There's no drama. Nobody's going to get too high or too low. Nobody's going to light it up. We just go on to the next day. You wonder if that, in a way, subconsciously even, played into a lot of guys just sitting back. Hey, don't rattle the cage. This has really been known as a team that doesn't do that. I mean, you remember in 2023, that's all anybody was talking about. And literally every guy had the same answer. What is it? You know, Marcus, Corey, what is it about this team? You know, what is it about the clubhouse? And everybody would always say, yeah, we're just, you know, we never get too high, too low. We're, you know, we just, you know, every day we get here, brand new day, brand new game, blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of coach speak, you know, nothing, right? And you just wonder if the team kind of felt a subconscious or a real pressure to kind of stay true to that. And so you never really had anybody speaking out, because the Rangers are a team that just doesn't panic. They never get too high or too low. I do kind of wonder if that is what it ended up turning into. Tried messing with Josh Smith and Smitty, wasn't having it. Jock and Dolly didn't give good vibes. Let me see here. What do we got? Season ticket holder posted on Twitter they get to meet and greet during batting practice, and they didn't give off good vibes. Okay. Dark, man, we do a little bit of everything, man. I don't even know if you're still hanging out, but no, surely not done with the Cowboys, but we cover everything, man. Rangers played today, so we cover the Rangers. Peterson's loved in the clubhouse, Francisco says. Gary says, look in the mirror, Marcus Semien can't hit 250. There's something to it. There is something to it. TLC, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. We lost our drive bringing Adolis back. Bochy should have sat him down. He was still too hurt. Bochy said that 2 or 3 days ago. It was tough. I think a lot of us emotionally did not want to see Adolis come back. But I think that when you look at it from an organizational standpoint, it was hard to keep him out and to totally bench him if he was healthy. I'm not saying it was the right move. I'm not saying that it's an excuse for playing him, but I do think that it was just one of those things. He's making too much money. He's a starter, Gold Glover, all the defensive runs saved, the October clutch, you know, a little bit of that, I think all played into him coming back. Clearly, hindsight's 2020, and bringing Adolis back just happened to coincide with one of the worst slides that I've ever seen to end a season. You know, a little bit odd, speaking of Adolis, that he did not even play today as a starter. I know he got in, and it didn't really feel like on TV it was like some massive ovation. I think he did get some cheers, but it was odd to me that he didn't even start today in what's probably going to be his last home game as a Texas Ranger. I was a little bit surprised that they did not allow him to get 4 ABs, soak it in, and what he got to lose at this point. I thought that was really interesting. it makes me wonder what's going on beneath the surface. You know that they've got to know this kind of stuff. They've got to know, hey, this is potentially Adoli's last playoff game, or excuse me, last home game as a member of the Rangers. I wonder why they don't play him. It was, I think, a really interesting decision. You wonder if they either A, just don't care, or B, if there's a little bit of friction beneath the surface. Maybe a little bit of both. I thought it was a little bit odd that they did not play him at all in what is going to be, I believe, his last home game as a Texas Ranger. I don't think that Garcia is coming back next year, Nate. No, I do not think at all that he is going to be back. I think he is leaving. I think the Rangers will either try to trade him for cash considerations, maybe a low-level prospect. I do not think he is coming back. I don't think there's any way he will be. Yeah, look, maybe not. I will say this. We talked about this on the show, I think last night and even a couple of nights ago. How many guys did Chris Young publicly blast this season? It felt like it was two. It was Adolis Garcia and it was Josh Young. Let me know if there's somebody else that I missed, but those were the two big guys. And you just wonder, was there something beneath the surface there with upper management and Adolis Garcia? Again, CY not known for publicly calling out players. Just is a little interesting to me that Adolis gets called out, Josh Young gets called out. You don't hear that happen very often from Chris Young. You wonder if there was something else there, attention beyond just the on the field not playing well. Who knows? Who knows? Who will be the starting catcher next year? Please not Kyle Higashioka or Jonah Heim. Please no. Please no. I hope that it's JT Realmuto, but at this point, it's hard to tell. Maybe we go trade for somebody, but I'd love for JT Realmuto to be signed. That would be phenomenal. Was Corey Seager worth the money? Yes, because you won a World Series. Walcott on the team next year, JN, maybe in the offseason. Excuse me, maybe at the end of the season, like in September 2026. All right, cool. Caught up a little bit. Young, best season was his rookie season. Yeah, I think that Josh Young is going to have to compete a little bit in the offseason. I really doubt that Josh Young is locked in right now as the starter at third base. I don't know how he could be after the year that he had. I really think that the Rangers are going to be exploring all options in the infield, first base, third base. I think obviously second and short are spoken for. I think you've got 5 potential position changes. You've got DH, catcher, right field, first base, third base. I think you can at least consider doing something different there. You're going to have some money to play with. You'll have some money, but at the same time, CY has come out, and I think he's kind of priming the pump a little bit, trying to dial it in, get some fan expectations a little bit lower. But he came out and said that they're going to be cutting back a little bit. They're still going to be spending a chunk of money. They've got a lot of money coming off the books. It's not like they're going to sit on all of it. Ranger J Film, appreciate the comment. I hope Kyle Tucker is a possibility, but I am not hopeful that it's going to end up happening. I hope we at least engage with Kyle Tucker, his agent, and see if we can't get him to Arlington, but I think it's a bit of a pipe dream. We're quick to forget that Heim is a really good defensive catcher. I would have to disagree a little bit, Robbie. Jonah Heim has been bad the past 2 years at controlling the running game. He's an average blocker. He's a pretty good framer. That's going to become a little bit less important next year with ABS and the challenge system. So I cannot say I'm with you on that. Like, you know, we're all sleeping on Jonah Heim's defensive abilities. I don't think he's the worst, so don't get it twisted. But I don't really feel like the Jonah Heim defensive sleeper take is really appropriate at this point. I don't think the advanced stats would really back that up. I'm happy to look it up, though, and if I need to eat crow, do a little retraction, I surely will. So here are the numbers. Jonah Heim, blocks above average. He is in the 28th percentile. So that means you've got about 72% of the league blocking better than Jonah Heim. You've got 64% of the league throwing out base runners better than Jonah Heim. You've got 64% of the league framing better than Jonah Heim. And you've got, 91% of the league with a better pop time than Jonah Heim. Raw B, I just can't go there with you on the Jonah Heim defensive sleeper take, man. It's not really accurate. Hate to break it to you, my guy. But I appreciate the comment. ABS, Noah, it's going to be you get 2 challenges a game. And if you're right, you get to retain the challenges. So, like, if you challenge first inning, you get it wrong, you have 1 left. You could, I think, theoretically make that challenge work the rest of the game if you get everything right. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. We keep on rolling. Wouldn't mind seeing Corey doing more DH, less field playing. TLC, be careful what you wish for. Corey Seager's one of the better defensive shortstops in the game. If you're worried about the injury, I guess I get it, but be careful. We had a lot of questionable play at shortstop, I felt like, down the stretch. And Corey Seager's absence was, I think, a really, really big eyesore. I really felt strongly that we're talking about Jonah Heim. I got him up right now, Baseball Savant page. I really thought Josh Smith, Ezekiel Duran, guys like that were going to be able to hold down shortstop a little bit better. I really started missing Corey Seager's glove badly. But TLC, I can understand if you're just talking about strictly an injury prevention desire. Totally get that. And I think the Rangers would be wise to manage it a little bit. You know, look, Corey Seager hasn't played over 140 games a lot over the last 3 or 4 years. But, you know, if you could maybe get something like, 105, 110 games at shortstop and then, maybe 30 games at DH, I think that would be great. What's good, man? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Hey, Eliseo, appreciate you, man. I got to say, I don't think that the Rangers did the home crowd right today, man. They just did not. It really was embarrassing, I think, for the entire series. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but I just feel bad for the people that spent their hard-earned money today on Rangers baseball. That's all I'm going to say about today. Upgrade the corners. Yep. I don't know if they're going to go get a bona fide closer, Texas, but you definitely could go and get a high upside guy, a guy with an upper 90s fastball, some good off-speed stuff. I think that's got to be what you do if you're not going to go get a big-name closer. At least go get a guy that can throw upper 90s, that has a good breaking pitch, and maybe a guy you could potentially mold into that closer type. Patrick, you're speaking my language. I love Real Muto, a catcher. I mean, look, Jonah Heim's catching numbers are bad. I mean, he is not better than the 36th percentile in any defensive catching stat. And his offense is even worse. I mean, he is in the 4th percentile for expected WOBA, the 8th percentile for batting run value, the 20th percentile for exit velocity. It is embarrassing. Jonah Heim has been one of the worst offensive players the last 2 years in all of baseball, and that's not hyperbole. And I don't want this to turn into a Jonah Heim troll fest, hate fest, but it's time to part ways. It is time to part ways, man. 100% it is. Let's look at Real Muto stats. And look, JT Real Muto, I don't know how for sure or even how likely this might be, but looking at his numbers, JT Real Muto is in the listen to this. I mean, I'm actually glad I looked this up. JT Real Muto has the best pop time in all of baseball. He is in the 100th percentile. JT Real Muto, Phillies catcher, he is in the 100th percentile for pop time. Best pop time in all of baseball. Does that sound good? JT Real Muto is in the 94th percentile for caught stealing. Does that sound like a guy we want behind the dish? I think so. Look, the offense has kind of become a little bit more mid. Sweet spot percentage is still elite. Everything else is kind of mid. He's in a lot of like the high 40 percentiles, the low 50 percentiles. Look, I will trade that for the defense that you're getting out of him. 100%. Aging JT, Shan, look, I'm with you. He's definitely not getting any younger, But you could do a lot worse than JT Realmuto. A lot worse. TLC, I barely did watch today, man. Barely did. One of the most important developments has been Leiter. I think he's going to stick. Good number 4. Conversely, Kumar, giant question mark. I still am not sold on Jack Leiter. I know some of you guys are really high on the improvement he made. I mean, can we be real? It's not hard to improve from an ERA of 8+. Jack Leiter had an ERA over 8 last year. It's not very difficult to improve from that. I am definitely watching and sitting back and thinking to myself, Jack does appear to have taken a step forward. How big of a step, I really don't know. I'm not really going to be given that take a whole lot of airtime, at least for me. I mean, I'm happy to read out the comments and give you my spin on it. I don't go into next season feeling awesome about Jack Leiter. I just don't. I hope to be wrong, and if I am, I'll eat crow. I just don't know if Jack is going to take the next step or not. I hope I am wrong. I hope that he comes and turns into an ace in 2025. I am a little bit suspect at this point. Yeah, I just got to hope. Patrick, 100%. Logan says, are we going to keep Josh Smith? I think so, although I do think Cody Freeman, Ezekiel Duran, Josh Smith, obviously you got a lefty version with Josh Smith, but do you really need that many jack-of-all-trade type players? Like, not really starters. Like, Cody Freeman to me is not a starter. I think he was a starter that we needed down the stretch in 2025. But personally, I don't think that Cody Freeman is really a starter in this league at this point. I think he's a depth guy. I think, granted, he's coming along, seems to be getting better and better each year. I don't think Cody Freeman is a guy that is a 150, 160 game starter. I think he's a guy that you like for depth. Ezekiel Duran, same thing. Josh Smith, same thing. I don't think Josh Smith is a starter in this league. I think he's a guy that should be playing every third day, maybe playing 3 or 4 times a week. I don't think he's a guy that you should be playing 6 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 times in a week. That would be not preferable, I think, going into next year. I do wonder if they trade one of those 3 guys. I think they'll keep Josh Smith. I do wonder if they trade one of the other 2. I mean, maybe they'll let Josh Smith go if the price is right, but I don't know if you really need to keep 3 very similar types of players, guys that are not going to hit a lot of home runs, guys that can play multiple positions, put the ball in play by and large. I don't know. I could see one of those guys potentially being trade bait. I'd rather have a bad season as a Rangers fan than win a ring as a fan of any other team. 100%. 100%. RM, appreciate it. Love this hat, man. Love it. Thanks all y'all for hanging out. Rough day to be a Rangers fan. A part of me is going to be happy when Sunday evening hits and the Rangers season has come to a close. It is hard watching this team finish out this year with just the total lack of try. And I don't think there's any denying that at this point. TLC, you make a good point. Wyatt's injuries, I definitely feel like are an issue that you have to watch. Evan Carter, another guy that I think you're worried about going into 2026. Are we ever going to get a fully healthy season of Evan Carter? TLC, going back to your Kumar Rocker take, I think a lot of people are still throwing around the Kumar Rocker as a closer potential. Guys, I think you got to put your GM hat on here. Kumar Rocker is infinitely more valuable in your organization as a starting pitcher than as a relief pitcher. That's not to say, even if he did close some games for us, a team could look at him and say, let's get him back out of the pen into the starting rotation. But I think they're going to continue to try and develop Kumar as a starter. I don't think that it's the best thing to do for the organization to make him a 9th inning guy. I think there are other ways, other routes that you can go there. I do not see them making him into a relief pitcher. I think that would be very detrimental to his value. If you wanted to trade him, use him to upgrade other areas of the roster, it's a lot less value as a relief pitcher than it is a starting pitcher. Brian, that's kind of what we just said, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Look, you guys know I love talking Rangers baseball. And look, we made a commitment. We're here till the bitter end, and we're going to be, but it's painful right now. I mean, look, I wish that at least these games were fun. Hey, you know what? We're out of it, but we're playing spoiler. We're having some fun. I know the Twins are out of it too. You just really hope this weekend they can go into Cleveland. Just have some fun the last 3 games. Remember why you're playing this game, man. You had fun playing it. It's a child's game. Man, come on. Let's stop with this 3-4 hit BS. Go out there, put the ball in play, have some fun. Play a little spoiler this weekend. I know that that's probably not good for those of us that hate the Astros getting to October, but nevertheless, I would probably err on the side of actually wanting to see some good baseball this weekend. America, yeah, we're basically in the same boat. I think I've shared with y'all, I've got quite a bit of family that lives in the Twin Cities. So I've been to Target Field many times. Really beautiful ballpark, by the way. Minnesota in the summertime. It's hard to beat that in terms of places to be in this country. Minnesota in the summer, beautiful, beautiful. If you ever get a chance, go enjoy the lake life in Minnesota in the summers. One of the best places to be in the country at that time of year. We'll say this, though. The Twins, I mean, look, they did the right thing. They sold at the deadline. I mean, the Twins did the right thing. The Rangers did not. I think you can look back on CY going and getting Merrill Kelly. What a waste. I mean, I think we can officially declare that trade a big-time L. You gave up 3 top 15 prospects to get Merrill Kelly. I don't see the Rangers going out and trying to re-sign him. Huge waste. It really is unfortunate. The Twins did the right thing. The Twins sold, and you know what? They did drop some games, and Twins fans have been going through it for the last couple of months, but at least for next year, they're not sitting around saying, wow, we gave up 3 top 15 prospects that maybe could have made an impact in late 26 or 27. Got a feel for EC. Going out with the wrist was real bad luck. Showed some flashes. Hopefully another offseason for rest, and he'll be ready. I hope Evan Carter can become an everyday player next year. The Rangers with Evan Carter, they really need to make that determination right now. Evan, in 26, you're an everyday player. We're going to ride it out with the lefty-lefty stuff. You're a top prospect. You were a top prospect in this organization. We really haven't given you a fair shake to be an everyday guy. We're going to tough it out. We're going to gut it out, and you're going to play every day. They really need to have that mentality with him. And I hope that he is a leadoff hitter for us next year when we're facing a righty. When we're facing a lefty, we're going to have to get creative. And I think you drop Evan Carter down in the order. The Rangers have got to give Evan Carter as an everyday player a shot. You cannot platoon a former top prospect, and that's really all they've done with him. The lefty-lefty stuff, I'm with you, TLC. I get very tired of it. They have got to go into 2026 with the mentality and the mindset that Evan Carter is going to play every day. Kelly should go, Lulu says. Young should go. Hyman Garcia should go as well. Young is going to be the interesting one. I think everybody else is gone, Lulu. I think you're right on the money there. I think Young is going to be the interesting one. The Rangers, I think, really have to make up their mind on Josh Young. Is he going to bounce back in 2026? Is he going to have a season similar to what he had in 2023? Or are we going to get more of the same? And the Rangers, they have made a lot of bad bets in that regard. They have made a lot of bad bets that guys were going to bounce back. Guys are going to have a better year. They're going to regress more towards, or I should say they're going to get closer towards the mean and less far away from the bottom of the barrel. They did that with Jonah Heim. It didn't work out. They did it with Adolis Garcia. It really didn't work out with Dolly either. And then Josh Young, the injuries, I think you could kind of write off Josh's struggles in 2024 as injury related. He didn't have a full season, blah, blah, blah. This year, I think you kind of saw a full year of Josh Young. I know he had a little bit of time here and there that he missed, getting sent down to the minors, all that kind of stuff. But I think the Rangers have got to feel confident in their decision one way or another. I don't know if I'm betting on a Josh Young bounce back. We'll see what happens, but Rangers have a tough decision on their hands. They really do. Gavin Fiend starting in 2028, I would be shocked at that, Pat. I think it's going to be 29 or 30 in most cases before you see Gavin Fiend. He would really have to be lighting it up immediately. And I just don't know if he'll do that or not. I know he's at low A, I believe. I think he's at low A. I think Hickory, right? High A are the Spartan Burgers. So I think he's at low A Hickory. I'm sure he'll probably start there next year. I don't think 2028 he's going to be starting shortstop. I think he'll probably be a 29 or a 30 guy at earliest. Real Estate, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the gift as well. Really, really appreciate the generosity. They need to let Garcia go. They will. I don't think there's any way that they're keeping him. Is this Bochy's final season? I don't think so. Look, I'm putting myself in Bruce Bochy's shoes. I can imagine he probably would like to spend some time with his grandkids and with his family in his older age. I do know, though, I mean, like me, I'm a competitive guy. I would not want to be going out with my tail between my legs like this. I know he has nothing to prove in this league. Bruce Bochy's won, 4 championships? I mean, he's got nothing left to prove in this league, but I don't know if Bruce wants to go out the way that we're going to be going out this year. I would not be shocked if he comes back, tries to guide this team back to the postseason. Maybe he doesn't win it all, but I think Bruce wants to go out as at least a team that made the postseason and got knocked out in October, not a team that totally quit and melted down the stretch in September. I think most people are going to be able to block out 24 and 25 for Bruce, considering what he did in 2023 and what he did with the Giants all those years. But I still think he's going to want to go out a little bit differently. So I feel like he will be back next year. Will Boone return, Connor? That's going to be a really big question. I would think probably no. I don't know how you could retain Brett Boone with how bad it was offensively, even down the stretch. I don't think Boone has been a net negative. I think he's probably been a middle of the road. It's kind of a meh. I don't think he's been awesome either, but I would guess with the deal expiring at the end of this year that they probably don't retain Brett Boone and they want to kind of do just a full-scale overhaul pitching-wise, batting-wise, hitting-wise, coaching-wise. I think Bruce will stick around. I think some of his main guys, Mike Maddox, some of the other bench players or coaches, will stick around. But I think that they'll clean house in other areas for sure. Luis, I just don't know if they're going to go out and get a real closer. JJ, just kind of talking about that, I don't think Brett Boone comes back. I really don't. I would be really surprised if he did. I would love to see a couple big bats. Kyle Schwarber, hello. Can we go get Kyle Schwarber? I said it on the show the last few nights. I'll be saying it a lot this offseason. Rangers got to go out and get an alpha. They have got to go out and get an alpha, somebody that commands respect immediately in the clubhouse, somebody that's not afraid to be vocal. They've got to go out and get an alpha. Kyle Schwarber, I think, would fit that. A guy who's been around this league, won a championship. A lot of respect for him among players around the league. I would love to see Kyle Schwarber in Ranger red, white, and blue. That would be a very good offseason if he could pull that off. India, nope. I don't think he'll be back. I think they'll try and trade him for sure. We did draft a catcher. I don't think he's going to be ready, TLC. Malcolm Morris, who you're thinking about, I don't think Malcolm Moore is going to be ready next year or even the year after. I think Malcolm Moore is a 2028 guy, maybe a 2029 guy. Vortex, we've been saying this. Pick up Real Muto. Make Kyle the DH. Absolutely. I don't know what you do with Jock Peterson, but sorry about it. Kyle and JT, if we could get those two Phillies off the free agent market, be a good offseason. Real estate, no. We were just talking about that, actually, man. I would be shocked if they brought Merrill Kelly back. I think that he had some good starts for Texas, and it wasn't like he was terrible, but unfortunately, in one of the biggest games of the season, Merrill was nowhere to be found, and he's going to be 37 in October. I just don't know if the Rangers want to shell out big bucks for a guy like that. You've already got two aging pitchers in DeGrom and Evo. God bless them. They're awesome still. DeGrom's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Nathan Eovaldi might have won a Cy Young had he stayed healthy. I don't think the Rangers want to invest any more money in a 35-plus pitcher. So I don't see Merrill Kelly getting a contract from Texas. Wonder if he maybe goes back to Arizona on a cheaper deal. That would not surprise me in the least bit. And good for Arizona. You got 3 top 15 prospect from Texas, and you get Merrill Kelly back for a couple of years. Peterson, I don't think is going to be resigning or retiring anytime soon. Should get Luis Arise, need way more contact and less swing and miss. I'm all for it. There are debates about how valuable Luis Arise really is, but we're going to see what he commands. We were talking about it on the show a couple nights ago. We will see what the contract is for Luis Arise. That is definitely going to be a big story this offseason because he's a guy that obviously puts the ball in play a lot, collects a lot of hits, but don't know how valuable he is when it comes to the advanced stats. I'll look up Luis Arise on Baseball Savant right now since we got it pulled up. Just kind of curious at this point, honestly. Luis Arise, elite with the expected batting average, squaring up elite with and K rate elite. He's in the 100th percentile in squared up percentage, whiff percentage, and K percentage, and in the 91st percentile when it comes to expected batting average. However, his batting run value is very poor. This is a guy that does not hit a lot of extra base hits. He's a singles hitter, right? And so it's going to be interesting how valuable and how much franchises are going to be willing to pay essentially a slap singles hitter. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But I like the contact. Don't get me wrong. I would much rather have a guy like this than a guy that strikes out all the time. But we're going to see how much Luis Arise really is valued. He is in the first percentile for hard hit percentage. 99% of the league hits the ball better, harder than him. 99% of the league barrels the ball up better than him. Some of these numbers are kind of wild, seriously. We'll see. We will see. Probably Cal for MVP. Jesse, don't you think? Cal Raleigh probably wins MVP. Jock and Martin, 2 shocking years, TLC. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that you would have thought both those guys would have performed a lot better. I know Martin dealt with a lot of injuries, but yeah, I'm with you on first base. I think catcher, first base, third base, right field, and DH are all spots that you could replace. I don't think anybody playing Berger, Heim, Young, Garcia, Peterson, I don't think any of those guys are irreplaceable. None of them. Yeah, I think Chris Martin, Colby probably will retire. That would be my guess as well. I see him retiring most likely. Appreciate it. Keep the comments coming. We're just talking ball right now. By the way, around the league, we'll take a little break from the comments. Keep them coming. We'll get to them eventually. Around the league, a couple of different games already gone final. The Astros did win today, 11-5. The Guardians lost today. So the Astros, I believe, are pretty close there with the Guardians for a playoff spot. The Tigers beating the Guardians by a score of 4-2. You look at the standings right now, wild card standings, and it is the Guardians that still lead the AL Central. In the wild card, the Yankees have clinched a spot. They are the top wild card team, followed by the Red Sox and the Tigers. Houston right now looks like a game out of the wild card, but they are tied. Let me see here. Is that how it is? Yeah, they are a game out for the wild card at this point. All right, we'll see how it goes. But beyond that, scoreboard, more around the league. Games going on right now. Mets are beating the Cubs 8-5. And how does that play out? The Cubs are the top wild card team by plenty. So Mets, by the way, just clinging on to that wild card spot, that last wild card spot. So Mets still might end up being in the playoffs, and a win tonight definitely goes a long way. Mariners are beating the Rockies 2-0. Cal Raleigh home run watch. Let's see if he's done anything today. Cal hit number 60 last night, hit number 59 and 60. He's 0 for 1 on the night. A lot of people wondering if he is going to break Aaron Judge's record. We'll see what happens. Best thing the Rangers can do this weekend is lose to make sure Houston doesn't get in. That will definitely be a silver lining if we get swept this weekend. That will 100% be a silver lining. TLC says, if you're a AAA player for the Rangers, this is your offseason. Lots of spots open. Yep. Foscue, man, I don't think there's any hope for Foscue in this organization. I think they should try and trade him, package him with, I don't want to say Cody Freeman because I love Cody Freeman, but package Foscue with somebody else, Duran, Freeman, one of those two guys. Maybe you send Josh Young as well, and you go get somebody really, really good. You send Josh Young, you send Foscue, you send Duran or Cody Freeman, maybe another minor league guy, throw him in there, and you go get somebody really good. That, to me, would be a move to make, is trading some guys like that and trying to swing for the fences, going all in on somebody that's got maybe 3 or 4 years left on a contract. That would be phenomenal. Yeah, signing Soto and not making the playoffs, if that is the Mets' fate, epic failure for sure. Yes, Young is the current third baseman. Some people believe he is locked into third base for next year. I think he's going to have to compete a little bit harder personally. We'll keep going here. Dude gave a kid the 60 ball. Would y'all have given it up? Justin, look, I'm going to just be honest. I don't think I would have, no. I don't think I would have given up the 60 ball. I definitely think it's awesome that the guy did it. And I'm not saying in retrospect or in hindsight, like, what an idiot that he gave the ball to the kid. I'm just trying to be honest. Like, in the moment, no, I don't think my first thought would be, let me go find a kid to give this ball to. In a way, it almost makes me think that the guy really didn't understand the ball that he had. Like, do you guys understand what I mean? I'm not trying to say, like, the guy made a bad move, but I just almost wonder if the guy didn't really understand the moment, because that ball is going to be valuable. Like, it is going to be a valuable baseball. So it does make me wonder, did that guy really not know in the moment what he was giving away? I'd be really curious. I don't know if they're going to be able to track him down. Maybe he totally knew this is Cal Raleigh's 60th home run ball, historic 60th. I just kind of wonder if the dude really didn't know what he was giving away. I mean, look, if it's any other random home run ball, I think I might be in a different mindset. If I know Cal Raleigh has just hit his 60th home run, it's historic for a catcher, and I've caught it, I'm probably not giving it up. I'm probably going with the Mariners out of the stadium, and I'm walking away, and I'm going to see what I can get at that point. I know probably some diehard Mariners fan would be a lot nicer about it. If I catch a Cal Raleigh 60, just like Aaron Judge, like the Rangers fan that caught Aaron Judge's, I'm leaving the stadium and I am selling it to the highest bidder. I am. That's crazy good money when you're talking about Aaron Judge's record-breaking homer, when you're talking about a historic ball like that from Cal Raleigh. You're talking about double-digit thousands. I mean, that definitely isn't going to set you up for life. I don't know if the Cal Raleigh 60 ball is going to get triple-digit thousands. Definitely isn't getting anywhere over $1 million. But, look, it's still very good money that I'd love to use for my family. I surely don't need to keep a Cal Raleigh 60 home run ball. But it'd be a cool story to tell, and I'd love to get a little money off of it as well. Keep on going. What about the Little Rascals? Josh, I just don't think that the Little Rascals did enough down the stretch. I think it was a fun run, but I don't think anybody in the front office is thinking about the Little Rascals as being premier features next year. I think Mike Hellman, good story. I don't think Mike is going to get a lot of preferential treatment next year. I think Cody Freeman might still be a big player in the organization, maybe a bench guy next year. I don't think he's going to be a starter. But beyond that, I don't think the Rascals did a whole lot to give themselves staying power down the stretch here. Had they continued what they were doing before they absolutely soiled the bed, starting with the Houston series, I think maybe we're talking about something different. But the fact that they faded as badly as they did down the stretch, I really don't see the Rascals being a premier piece next year. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm not seeing it happening. All right. Hey, the next series against the Guardians. let's go ahead and let's talk about it a little bit. I don't know if the Rangers have announced any kind of starting pitching. We'll check it out, and we'll see if we can find anything for you guys. But the Rangers are probably on a flight already, headed to Cleveland. Big weekend for Cleveland. Look, normally you'd want to see the Rangers play spoiler. Some of you guys are bringing up a good point. It might be kind of nice if Cleveland could somehow keep the Astros out of playoff contention. We'll see, but it's going to be lighter tomorrow. All right, cool. It's going to be lighter tomorrow, his last start of 2025. You really hope that he's able to come out, have a really quality start on the road. The road has not been super kind to Jack. We'll say that. The home splits are much better for Jack than away, but he will go on Friday. On Saturday, it looks like nobody has been announced. On Sunday, looks like nobody has been announced either. So Rangers have only announced a starter for Friday. And just to preview that game for you a little bit, Ciccone is pitching for the Guardians, 7-6 with a 4.15 ERA. Jack, 9-10 with a 3.92 ERA. Jack against the Guardians, Arias is 1 for 2. Hedges 0 for 2. Kafis 0 for 2. Kwan 0 for 3. Manzardo 1 for 3. Naylor 1 for 1. Jose Ramirez 0 for 5 against Leiter. Roquillo 0 for 3. Schneemann 0 for 2. So Jack actually has pretty good numbers against these guys. On the other side, against Ciccone, Duran 1 for 4. Garcia 2 for 3 with a homer. Heim 0 for 2. Higgy 1 for looks like 3 for 6. Higgy is with a bomb off Ciccone, the Guardians' probable starter for tomorrow night. Josh Young 0 for 2. Dylan Moore 0 for 2. Osuna 0 for 2. Peterson 1 for 5. Josh Smith 0 for 4. Rowdy Tellez 1 for 2 with the homer. There you go. So it'll be playoff baseball for the Guardians. So at least the Rangers get to be kind of a part of it. I believe the Saturday game is on Fox. Am I getting that right? I believe the Saturday game is on Fox. Thoughts on the Guardians? They are playing the Rangers at a good time. The Rangers are not playing good ball right now, but the last weekend of baseball is always a little crazy. Speaking of, really just so heartbreaking that the Guardians lose Fry to that injury, the Scooble 99-mile-an-hour fastball off the face. Brutal, brutal injury. He's going to be out for the rest of the season, and that is a big loss. I think the Guardians can still go on and do some good things down the stretch here, but what a loss going into the last weekend of the regular season. You just hope the Guardians aren't pressing too much. And look, we'll see how the Rangers look in terms of their effort and in terms of their try on the field. Look, there's some guys that are going to be on the team next year that you would love to see better effort out of. I don't know if you're still hanging out, but we had a couple of people suggest, like, what does it matter? I think for me, it matters a lot. Some of these guys are going to be on the team next year, and the attitudes and the effort that they are showing, I don't care if these games are meaningful or meaningless. You got to show up and be a professional, especially for the fans in the last homestand of the season. Just rubs me the wrong way that guys aren't out there trying their best. You're getting paid well to do this job. Go out there and do it to the best of your ability. We'll see how the Rangers come out this weekend. Definitely going to be paying attention closely to that. And like I said, I think that on Saturday, the Rangers will be on Fox on national TV. We'll see. I'll double check on that real quick, but I believe that is accurate. Yes, it is a Fox game. It'll be on at, looks like 6:15 Texas time, Saturday night. There we go. There we go. Hopefully we don't embarrass ourselves on national TV. McKinney looking like our best bat. I know. Justin, I was just thinking, like, why is it always these guys coming up from AAA that are having the best effort? I think it is because they're knowing that they might not get another shot, right? There's some desperation there. And there's a few guys on this team that are lacking that, lacking the desperation. I don't think it's a shocker that guys like Cody Freeman, guys like Hellman, guys like McKinney came up and they are instantly providing a little bit of a spark. There's some desperation there. Those guys, they're getting called up and they know that they might not get another call up. And you've got some other guys that are a little bit too comfortable. Little too comfy. Let's see. Would any other team have benched Jock? TLC, I think it would have been tough. Jock Peterson was just getting paid way too much money this year. Way too much money. I don't know if a lot of teams would have had the cojones to bench him either. I really don't. I think that you probably would have seen a lot of teams ride it out like we did, knowing the investment that you put into him. What, not even 7-8 months ago? I don't know if the Rangers were on an island and how they handled Jock Peterson. Hey, what's good, bud? Thanks for hanging out. I've been better, man. The Rangers dropped another one today. I've been better. This NFL season is hopefully going to have to pick up where the Rangers couldn't. Cowboys have a rough matchup coming up this weekend on Sunday Night Football. We'll be back for that game, by the way. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys-Packers. The Longhorns have a bye this week, so they will not be playing. So we won't be live for college football on Saturday. We will be live for the Rangers on Saturday night, playing the Guardians on Fox. But the lives for the weekend will be live tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday night. We will do a Sunday Rangers show and a Sunday Cowboys show. So we got 4 shows coming up for you guys this weekend. It's going to be something. We're going to finish out the baseball season as best we can. Justin, I hope you are right on the Jock turnaround in 2026, man. And I do think Jock is probably going to get a shot in 2026. I mean, he's only got 1 year left on the contract, so we'll see. But right now, it would be open season for me. Catcher, first base, third base, right field, and DH. I don't care how much you're paying Jock Peterson. Yeah, they do make about 2 months' wages in one MLB game. The least they could do is show up for the home fans, man. That again, I'm going to keep going back to that. So frustrating to me that the Rangers just totally don't show up for the home fans in the last home series. Ridiculous. Not okay. Just really not okay. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to go scorched earth, but it's really frustrating to me that the effort was just totally not there for that entire series against the Twins. What are the plans for the A's in Las Vegas? New stadium? Yes, they've broken ground on the stadium. I believe 2028 is when it is going to be ready. Maybe 27, but we'll see. You know how these things go. Sometimes they take a little bit longer than what is projected. We'll see what ends up happening. Pick up Danny Jansen or JT Realmuto. Please, JT Realmuto. Please, please, please. Is it not crazy watching the Astros struggle this bad after they made sure they beat them Rangers? It's crazy. I mean, look, I'm not crying in my beer about it. Let me put it that way. But yeah, the melt is a little wild. I thought the Astros would really cruise to a playoff spot after beating the Rangers like they did. A very emotional, uplifting, catalytic series. Just a kick in the butt in a good way. You really thought the Stros were maybe going to go on a little bit of a run and cruise into October. It is going to be a nail-biter down the stretch. This last weekend is going to prove everything for a lot of teams. Guardians, Astros, we'll see what happens, man. But yes, I do think it was wild that the Astros really melted a little bit down the stretch like they did. They were on a 5-game losing streak before they won today. Yeah, Astros did have a lot of injuries this year, 100%. Astros and Rangers dealt with a ton of injuries. Astros more so than the Rangers. But look, if they make the playoffs, it is an impressive feat. We'll give respect where it's due. Don't want to wax poetic about the Astros, but if they can make the playoffs, make a little noise, you got to respect it. They've had a ton of injuries. Ton of injuries this year. 18 on the IL, that's right. I remember it was pretty close to 20. Pretty close. TLC, 100%. That Fromber episode was super weird. It's downtown. It's on the Strip. So they demolished the Tropicana, which was on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana. And like MGM, if you've ever been to Las Vegas, MGM is right across the way from where the baseball stadium's going to be. New York is real close by. Excalibur is right across the street. So if you've been to Vegas and you recognize any of these casinos, the Aria in Cosmopolitan, it's not too far away from there. Aria's probably a little bit closer. So it's down on that end of the strip, down on the south side of the strip, furthest away from downtown. Mandalay Bay is fairly close by as well. So it's going to be right there. Kind of, I don't want to say in the heart of the strip, but right there on the strip. So it should get quite a bit of traffic, you would think. A lot of negativity sometimes when a pro team comes to Vegas. Nobody's going to support. That's what they said for the Knights. Nobody's going to go to hockey games out in the desert. Didn't happen. That's what they said for the Raiders. Didn't happen. And I can't see it happening with the A's. I think they're going to be well supported in Las Vegas. I think they will be for sure. Very disappointing season, 44. I totally agree with you. I'm looking forward to flushing it on Sunday and starting to talk off season and look forward to 2026. That's the plan, my guy. That is the plan. All right, y'all. I'm going to take off for the evening. It's been a day and it's been a game, but we are going to look forward to this weekend. Maybe the Rangers play spoiler to the Guardians. Maybe they do the Guardians a solid and roll over so those dang Astros stay out of October. We'll see what happens. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be back Saturday night and Sunday as well. Sunday double show. We'll do Rangers in the afternoon. We'll do Cowboys in the evening. It'll be a packed day, but a good day. We'll finish out the 2025 season. We'll hopefully be talking about a Dallas Cowboys win over the Green Bay Packers. We're talking major upset. That is going to be a tough game for Dallas, but we'll be here to talk it through. We'll go live during the fourth quarter, and we'll be here post-game as well. I just want to say a special thank you to everybody who still continues to hang out, even with the season being where it is. It's not easy being a Rangers fan right now, but there's no fair weather in me, and I'm glad to know that I'm not alone. Some of y'all, there's no fair weather. You show up day in and day out. That's how it should be. That's how it should be for the players too, by the way. And I don't know if you can say that 100% down the stretch for this team. I think you've seen some pretty terrible efforts this past week. And it does make you a little worried, I think, about 2026. Anybody saying, who cares, these games are meaningless, watching this team mail it in a little bit, I'm not there, y'all. Some of these guys are going to be playing on the Rangers next year. You don't want to go out in the 2025 season like this. Go out on a good note. If you lose to the Guardians, so be it. But at least try. At least try, please. Ball knower, I don't think you're going to have to worry about us too much. I don't see the Rangers magically turning it on, but you never know. You never know. I don't think Rangers get Grisham. I don't think Bochy leaves. And no, I don't think Adolis will be back. So negative on pretty much all of those. Negative on all of those, Ishan. Oh, my goodness. All right, y'all. Hey, thank you again. Appreciate you guys. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Thursday night and a good weekend ahead. Come hang out tomorrow. We'll be talking more baseball. We'll be back again on Saturday and on Sunday to talk baseball and NFL. Cowboys play on Sunday Night Football. We'll try and have a reel out tomorrow at some point. I was working one up today. Just don't think I'm going to have enough time in the day to get it out. But we'll put a reel out or a short out tomorrow. And I hope you guys will enjoy that one. Hope you come back and hang out. Talk more ball with us over the weekend. Again, have a great night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.